you were really big on the Jets this offseason. That's something you talked about numerous times in the summer about how they would destroy the Chiefs, maybe if they made it to the playoffs, how you really believed in Aaron Rodgers this year. So they played the 49ers week one. The 49ers beat them. It was a blowout victory for the 49ers. However, we did see some vintage Rodgers, right? You saw the play where he does the what was that face?
I didn't see vintage Rodgers. I saw the Rodgers that got beat by the Lions to get knocked out the playoffs.
I was gonna say we saw a vintage thing that Rodgers did in terms of the false start, and getting the defense to jump off sides and scoring on it. He's a master at it, and we saw that in week one.
Yeah,
Personally, I believe this game was more about Kyle Shanahan's ego. You know what I'm saying? I think the 49ers sent a message to the league saying, it doesn't matter what we have on offense, as long as we got Kyle Shanahan making the game plan. Jordan Mason, you probably did not know who he was until this game where he rushed for over 100 yards. He basically ran through the Jets defense, averaged about 6 to 8 yards a carry. It was unbelievable watching the game. And it's really demoralizing for a defense because for a team to run like that on you, they have to push you against your will. And that's all I saw the 49ers do against the Jets was break them.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I wouldn't hype up Kyle Shanahan. I think
Mm.
he's a Kyle Shanahan's kind of like the Cowboys. Like him himself, his story. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of get there, but then all of a sudden, all that stuff you do so good with coaching, like you could beat McVay every year in the season, but when it was like Super Bowl time, like it looked like he mopped you just in coaching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you could beat everybody, but then you run into Andy Reid and it's like he's running circles around you, maybe hey, you don't have that quarterback. That could be the problem. But at the end of the day, you got who you got, and you're playing with what you're playing with. But hey, it is what it is. I think that Rodgers. You said I was big on him. If I was, you can delete that record. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I'll be generous. I don't know why. I'll
But
call.
here's this though. Here's this. I'll be generous. I'll be generous right back. One thing I do want to say to your point about the 49ers was Brock Purdy was something we all wanted to see this year, how he would look. And obviously that's something the 49ers are gonna have to deal with like as soon as the offseason comes in terms of the money, and what they're gonna do. So this team, this could be their last ride. You know what I mean? That whole team, being put together as is right now, because this could be their
Yeah,
last ride. But Brock Purdy did look pretty good. That is still a Jets defense that was, if I'm not mistaken, number one, number two in the league last year. They still have a lot of pieces from then. I believe CJ Mosley was out for a couple of quarters, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that played a part in it. But Sauce Gardner was still out there and a couple other pieces. And Brock Purdy did look pretty poised, I would say.
yeah,
It's something we talked about kind of in touching the Rams Lions game was like that's what you look for in the second season of continuation is a lot of times growth and patience. Purdy showed that in the pocket and getting outside the pocket. And I believe that is what Kyle Shanahan was looking for in a quarterback, similar to what Sean McVay was looking for in Stafford. Like I need you, I can, man, I saw a very pretty woman. It like completely took my whole train of thought away. But but in terms of um uh man, Stafford and McVay, like that was something that Sean McVay was looking for in Stafford. Like, yes, I can craft a phenomenal game plan, right? I can, come up with some of the best schemes, but can you do some of the things that take intangibles? And I believe Brock Purdy definitely can do that.
I got some serious questions about Robert Sala. I don't really know if he's like that guy.
We are and Nathaniel Hackett.
Well, Hackett's really just Rogers. That's just Rogers. So I don't care about that. He's one with Hackett right next to him. But with the Robert Sala, like, isn't that the team you came from? Like, you didn't have nothing schemed. You don't know nothing about this coach,
He was a
and he taught you
coordinator.
everything. It was just a little weird. A little
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
You
Robert
didn't
Sala.
perform well in that at all. But I'm not even gonna like bash on this game per se, really, because I believe it was just a mismatch and it was a heavyweight versus an up and comer. Regardless of who your quarterback is, your team's an up and comer.
For
So
sure, for
I
sure.
expect Rodgers to add 2 to 3 wins to what they had last year with Zach Wilson, and that was 7 wins. So, you know, this is just one of those losses that was going to be a loss no matter what.
And we'll move on to the Titans and Bears, but I do want to say this for any opponents that's going to have to play the 49ers. The 49ers dominated time of possession by a historical margin. They held the ball for close to 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is a recipe for a disaster against any team in the NFL, but against the 49ers, that is a recipe for disappointment going against the 49ers. Now moving
Fact.
on to the Titans and Bears game, we got a chance to see Caleb Williams start, right? And a lot of people obviously weren't high on it because he was arguably saved by his special teams and by his defense, which I'm telling you, out of a 17 game season, 18 game season, we will never see in the same game a block punt return for a touchdown and a pick six return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I don't know what Will Levis and the Titans. I mean, he blew that. He completely blew. That was his. As much as that was Caleb Williams' debut, when I was watching that game and they were up 17-3, I'm like, this Will Levis kid looks pretty good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
they figured it out.
Yeah.
It's like they figured it out. Then you're throwing pick sixes. It's like, well, we can forget about that. So, however, though,
Couldn't even score again.
it was
Not
horrible.
even field goals. Like, that's bad.
No, it was horrible. He tried to throw it out of bounds. Like he was getting spun around, tried to throw it out of bounds and threw a pick six. What a swing of events.
Bad.
Like the first half was all about Will Levis. The second half was all about Chicago's defense and what they did. But honestly, the football guys were just on. That was the Bears needed that. Like the Bears fans needed that victory because I don't know what they would have done. They lose that game at home to the Titans with all this hype around. You got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, you got all this. You lose that game to the Titans, man.
Yeah.
I watched it the first half. I wrote down, I said, Will Levis, you know, dash, cool, calm, collected.
Crazy to see in the NFL that we just had like a new generation of a lot of good kickers. It was so many like
Yeah,
50 yarders done casually. The Steelers guy has like four of them
yeah,
over 50.
yeah,
The Dallas got a prodigy. Like
yeah.
crazy, bro.
I
Crazy.
was actually mad that Dallas didn't let their kicker kick it at half because I wanted to see if he could hit that 71 yarder.
Man.
I'm so disappointed Dallas didn't do that. It had to be
Yeah.
the biggest disappointment of this. Like, bro, you guys are already up. Like, we already know the Browns are coming back.
Because
Like, give.
what if he hit that?
Did you see the one he did from 66?
Yes,
It was
bro.
good. It wasn't like you know how those kicks used to be. Like, it was
Yeah.
barely going over.
Yeah.
Now those kicks are going. But you know what though? These kickers are doing that in practice. Similar
Yeah.
how Curry is shooting those shots in game. Like these kickers are doing that in practice
In
at
practice.
this
Like he's like, I've hit a couple of these. You
man,
know?
man, and you got the lead.
That's game
Like,
changing, bro. That's game changing. You could kick from that far, that changes everything.
dude, if he hits a 70 yarder, like that is absurd. We're talking about a whole new way to scheme football.
It's like, bro, we just got to get to the 40. We even got to get to like halfway to man, that's crazy.
Hey,
That's
but you're
just
gonna
crazy.
see it though. You're gonna see it though, and at least if not in the next few seasons, you're gonna see it in this decade. Like, because you
Yeah.
were seeing it last in the last decade, like 60 yarders is a big deal, but you saw kickers kicking 65, 66, 67, 68 in practice. Now you're seeing these kickers kick from further than that in
Bro,
practice.
to make 50 casual, no, 50 is still a big deal.
Yeah,
To make it casual, I can hit 5 of these in the game.
yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Speaking of kicking the ball, since we're on the topic, and I'm gonna transition to the next game after this. But the new kickoff rule, did you see it? Did you see it? I thought it looked
Yeah,
clunky.
it looked weird. It
Yeah.
looks weird. It looks very weird. I think somebody got a touchdown on it though.
Yeah, a couple teams who kicked it in the landing zone, which if you don't know, the landing zone, I believe is from the 25 to where the end zone is. That's the landing
Yeah.
zone. You have to return it if it lands in that zone. You have to return it. So I heard Bill Belichick talking about it, and you could see obviously he's experienced because when the Jets and Niners played, Kyle Shanahan told the people who were interviewing him like, hey, a old touchback was or the average yards after the kick for the average where the ball was spotted, average last year was a 26-yard line. So if you don't return it, the touchback is not the 30, 4 yards is not that big of a deal, is what he told people. Bill Belichick before the season said, speaking of different coaches, they already said we're just going to kick it to the back of the end zone. You know,
Yeah.
so I'll be curious to see how this goes. I'll say in every big game, you won't see a kick in the landing zone at all, at all, at all.
Now, not unless they make that like automatic 40-yard line. If you
Yeah,
don't, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure.
It's no punishment having it at the 30. It's no punishment.
There's no punishment. They would have to throw like a penalty. Like they would have to say they would have to make up some stupid rule.
Hey,
Like
I remember the days of it started at 20.
yeah.
Like, we're all the
Yeah.
way up to the 30 now. It's like, man, y'all just keep moving that thing up.
Well, you know what though? It's the entertainment. It's the entertainment aspect of the business. Like you want to see more offense, you want to see more touchdowns. That's what people watch. That's what the casual fan watches it for. You have way more casuals than you do diehard football fans, you know. So
Yeah.
real quick, Bengals lose to the Patriots. We talked about this in the summertime. What's at stake for Joe Burrow?
And I told you they were going to start slow. Is what they do every year.
I'm not gonna say anything about that game. I'm gonna just end it with this. Depending on how they play the Chiefs this Sunday, depending on how that game goes, will determine how the media covers Burrow for the rest of the season. If the Chiefs beat the Bengals, which is more than possible, we're talking about people saying that Burrow's a one-hit wonder. A lot of people already think Burrow's a one-hit wonder. They think him going to the Super Bowl was fluke. So now it's just
I don't think it was fluke, but they always start slow. Burrow kind of comes along as the year goes on. Everybody ain't gonna be Mahomes. I think that's
I
been
don't know,
evident every
facts.
year.
Facts.
Everybody's not gonna be Mahomes, man. Like if you want, who's the best thrower of the ball for the last 2 years so far? Tua. So everybody ain't gonna be, what y'all think they're gonna be. But Burrow's gonna be all right. I don't know if they make the playoffs, but he gonna be all right.
Yeah. I agree with your point. I think it's way too early to write them off. Now, I think it's way too
Yeah,
early.
you can't keep starting off slow. You know,
That is true.
you gotta. But I don't think that's on him. That's on coach. If this is happening, this is a trend.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think y'all ever won opening day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got to work
Because they
on
were
that.
5-5 last year with Joe Burrow.
I
That
believe it. I
that's
believe
where
it.
that's where it gets tricky though for me. That's why I agree with your point.
It don't for me because Mahomes only won like 11 games last year.
I agree with your point. I'm not gonna. I mean, but based on what he had, that's where
I
football gets
mean, but
tricky.
hey, one guy's working with Andy Reid and a willing ownership, and one guy has Zach Taylor in the ownership that has yet to pay Jamar Chase.
I want to tell you guys about a couple of people we really rock with. Number one, Rubler, a social media app that appreciates you, and it's also Black owned. This app is all about you. You can customize your feed so you can only see what you want to see when you open the app. You also get a chance to enjoy a safe environment where racism, harassment, hate speech, bullying isn't tolerated, and you can enjoy a fun, creative, mannered, respectful discourse. And to be honest with you guys, since using this app, I've cut down my social media usage on other apps completely in half. I like to say this app is similar to if Instagram and YouTube had a perfect baby where everything you loved was in it and everything you hated was out of it. So guys, check out Rubler, a social media app that appreciates you. Number two, Excess Sports Nutrition. Guys, crack the seal on one of their many flavors and keep winning. I'll transition over to these two teams. Cowboys Browns. Deshaun Watson, is it time to say his
It's
career
over.
is over?
It's over.
It's man,
It's over.
feels like way too soon.
Yeah. It's not
Be-
well, it's not over on the contract, so he gonna still play. But I
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah. Which, by the way, I mean, assuming that he doesn't like, actually turn out this year to be, better, to get better, that's looking like the worst contract in
ever.
ever in NFL
And Dak,
history.
bro, Dak just passed his contract by 1 million. So it took how many years to get somebody to pass him?
Man. And truth be told, man, in watching that game, the worst part about watching it, look, a lot of people are Deshaun Watson fans more than they want to admit. When he was on the Texans and he was doing his thing, we were all rooting for Deshaun Watson to make a Super Bowl or to make the AFC
Man,
Championship.
I still
We,
remember them Clemson days.
we saw
Buddy was a
spectacular
prodigy.
play. We saw spectacular play from Deshaun Watson. And that's why now, even when you see it happening live and in action, you don't want to admit it. Nobody in the league wants to admit it. I mean, even after the game, you got players that beat him saying he's still a good quarterback, and you got Brady saying he'll figure it out. Like that's how you know you were a spectacular talent. But seeing what looked to be his confidence diminishing, that's where I wanted to turn the
It might
game
be
on.
over. He might be all right. But I'm starting to think he might need no massages back.
Hey,
Listen, if I was the owner, I'll get some NDAs and all the good stuff.
yo,
I get every flavor for you. Like,
yeah,
brother,
yeah,
my brother, you
yeah,
can DM her and act like this was a whole thing. Like,
yeah, yeah,
cause
yeah.
I know one thing changed. And that thing might maybe that's what had you winning, buddy. I be like,
Hey,
man, I'll be getting all the massage therapists I can find.
look,
All right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
get him back on his game.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. I, that's funny. I'm glad you said it because I was gonna say it. I'm glad you said it. I was gonna say it, because yeah, man, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna move on to the next
it
game,
looked like he's trying to be a good guy. It's like, you know what, man? Just go back to being a bad guy and get back to
bro.
playing good football.
Facts, man. And you was doing it in Houston too.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
bring
know.
all them Houston girls up to the O or whatever you call
It's like,
Cleveland.
why is he trying to not do what look, man, if you were getting those massages for all the years you were winning, at some point you believe you need the massages. Like at some point,
Bro, I'm another billionaire owner, bro. Like, what the hell you want?
bro, yeah,
Right? I'm bringing
yeah,
everything in here.
bro. It's with that contract too, you might as well. You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose in that Browns
Come on,
organization.
man.
However, though, and now to your point and what you
I'll have
said,
one waiting at your locker when you walk back in the tunnel, buddy.
man,
Like,
every game, every
come
after
on,
practice, just let me know what your schedule is.
man.
Like,
What? We need to,
man.
you know what I'm saying, bro? Come on.
So I'll say this much to it. And to your point, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I did want to get your thoughts. You were big on Baker when he was in Cleveland. You're starting to look like a prophet. You're starting to look like a prophet. You're starting to look like a prophet because they wish they had Baker now versus what they have.
Man, I did not say that to you. Like, it's nice seeing Baker
Yeah,
cook. And
yeah,
you got Deshaun Watson doing what he did.
yeah.
Boy, I know they was like, oh my God.
No, they were.
Man, Baker.
Let's.
And Baker took a team friendly deal, 4 for 100.
I'll transition over to this. The Cardinals versus the Bills, right? Cardinals versus the Bills. So everybody was focused on could the Bills be special this season, given what they have and given what they got rid of. Bills trailed 17-3 in second quarter, then won 34-28. Josh Allen threw for 2 TDs, 18 for 23 for all you people who said Josh Allen wasn't accurate and rushed for 2 touchdowns. I believe the Bills sent a message to the league. It doesn't matter what our team looks like. We still got Josh Allen. I believe playing the Bills this year is going to be pretty. I would be hesitant playing against this Bills team in particular because Josh Allen's experience, he's patient, he's focused, and of all other things, he's angry. I could see them being a real threat this year. I could see them being a real threat this year.
Kyler Murray, I thought he played a great game. I really was rooting for the Cardinals. I thought they were going to win
I
that
was.
game.
I
I won't
was.
because I don't like the how they just kind of act like they forgotten about Kyler Murray. Like I don't like that. I don't like how you guys like personally. I don't like you saying Jared Goff is better. I don't like you saying a lot of guys are better than him. Like I'm not saying anything against those other guys, but Kyler Murray's a natural talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? This guy has already shown, like, you give him a real team, they do things too. Like, how bad is his team right now? Let's be real. They paid him and stopped paying everybody else. like seriously,
Mm-hmm.
like his team is awful. So that game really showed me that the Bills are bad because the only thing the Cardinals got is Kyler Murray and now Marvin Harrison Jr. That's it. I think James Conner is the running back. Like, I mean, come on. He don't even got that. So it's
Yeah.
just him and a rookie receiver. Rookie. You know he's not going to get his feet wet for real until halfway in the season when he starts realizing, all right, these DBs grab on me. These DBs play off me. These linebackers come up. These, safeties do this. Like, he has to get that figured out. He's a rookie, right? And you
Yeah.
just got Murray. Murray's just going to sit there, run around until he can find something. And that's going to get him 6, 7 wins alone. For the Bills to have potentially been one of them, you guys are bad right now. And it took heroic. So this is what gets me. So it was terrible when Lamar did it, but it's great when Josh Allen does it. Everybody's like, man, Lamar needs to da da da. He can't, he can't throw with the best of them. Da 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 da. But it was the same game just played by Josh Allen versus the Cardinals, not the Super Bowl champs. Man, they hype Allen up too much. I'm sorry to say, bro. He is nothing. I'm not gonna say he's not nothing. He is amazing because I would take him on the Lions. Don't get me wrong. Josh Allen is Ben Roethlisberger with a little more ability to run. Roethlisberger ran guys over too, but Allen a little more athletic. He's Ben Roethlisberger. He can be accurate. He could go ballistic and throw 4 picks. He's just one of those guys. But we've learned if Allen has to play hero ball, he has to throw the TDs. He has to run the TDs. He has to knock guys over. He has to make play after play. You're going to lose to Patrick Mahomes or Burrow or Lamar once again in the playoffs.
I'll move on to this game, man. Steelers Falcons. All kicks.
Yeah, boring ass game.
How do you feel about Kirk Cousins?
Oh, I'm not worried about the Falcons. I'm not. First of all, they're in the NFC, and that was an AFC team. I'm not worried about the Falcons. I want to see you play your division. I want to see, remember Kirk Cousins coming off an injury. And, I'm a Kirk fan, so I definitely believe, look, when Kirk get to cooking, you guys are going to be sick to your stomachs. All right? These guys are not even used to what Kirk brings. So he was out there. I mean, I like to see that. He threw a few picks. I mean, he trying to get that ball to y'all. You know what I'm saying? He gonna make it happen, right? As he starts to learn that tight end, learn that receiver, he gonna make it happen. They might start off 2-3, but Kirk can go 7-0 mid-season. He can. He can. You know what I'm saying? He was
He gets
cooking with the
cooking.
Vikings before he got hurt. They was doing bad. What happened? Went on a win streak. The Vikings almost they was literally still in the playoff hunt with that backup in because of what Kirk did before he got hurt. Kirk gonna cook. Now it's the playoffs you got to worry about, but he gonna get to cooking in the season. I'm not worried about the Falcons.
I'll say this much. This is what Justin Fields like. This is what Justin Fields looks like under a well-coached organization. Like, can we stop acting like Justin Fields was Chicago's problem, and Chicago's problem wasn't the fact that they need a better coach?
Yeah,
Like
Justin Fields, bro.
a better
I don't
management?
know, bro. The football guys are not rocking with him. All right, 2 defensive coaches back to back. Justin Field is not. He's not a quarterback for those guys. That's just the truth. I think Justin Fields will be great. I think Sean McVay, Kyle
Oh
Shanahan,
man, they would kill for Justin Fields.
bro, with the things that they would have him doing, like because Fields, he's not very accurate in the short game, right?
Hmm.
Or like, I'm not gonna say he's not accurate. He's not fast off the ball. You know what I'm saying? But Fields is crazy accurate downfield. Like he can throw some dimes. Like really, you know what I'm saying? It's a talent. Like to have a guy drape with a defender and you put it in the pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Very
Like
talented.
Fields throws a beautiful deep ball, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe he doesn't do the quick game that great, but if it ain't there downfield, he can get 10 yards.
But let's look at it like this, right? Like Mike Tomlin consistently has been over 500, consistently 500, doesn't have a losing record or whatever. Last year they go to the Super Bowl. They go to the playoffs, they play the Bills. I'm telling you, all of these Steelers playoff games or late games that they need will look a whole lot different with a Justin Fields or Russell Wilson at quarterback. Because as you saw in yesterday's game, they don't even have to score a touchdown. They just have to be efficient and not turn the ball over.
And
Guess
not
what?
turn the ball
That's
over.
what they do. Like, so I would
Bro,
be
I will say with Russ, two of those field goals are touchdowns.
easily for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
For
So
sure.
instead of 18, you add it'd be like they would have had 26
But even
with
then, though,
Russ.
this is a great season where we get to see like you have two quarterbacks that could both start and both do different things and both do some things well, don't do some things well, and you guys have them on the same team. I can see the Steelers being a real threat because I'm telling you, even in that Bills game, Mike Tomlin coaches that Steelers team so well that even in a game where you're outmatched, you're still in it. In that wild card game against the Bills, I mean, it was at one point it was one touchdown before the Bills made it two touchdown, like a two touchdown lead, and then their quarterback couldn't convert. I'm telling you, though all of the Steelers games that look 50-50 are going in the Steelers direction this year, for sure. Vikings versus the Giants. Sam Darnold, stay low and keep firing. All right. Don't let it go to your head. Don't let this victory go to your head, man. You beat the Giants. All
Hey, he
right.
might he might resurrect his career low key like Baker did.
If it wasn't for JJ McCarthy getting injured, we might not have even known he was on the depth chart.
It's really important who you start with. Because now they're saying, should they get rid of Bryce Young? Of course you're saying that. He went to the shittiest team in the league. All right. But let's be honest, bro. Could Patrick Mahomes win 7 games with that team? I want to ask you that. Do you think Patrick Mahomes can win 7 games with the current team that Carolina has? That O line, that D line, those linebackers, those cornerbacks,
But you know what though?
those receivers, that running back, that coach, that owner.
It's not even about the. I believe the Rams showed you going against the Lions. It's not even about the line or these other positions. It's about your coach. If you're a well coached team, you're just going to be in it based on fundamentals. Or is your team ready to play? The Saints destroyed the Panthers. They destroyed They have people asking Derek Carr questions after the game. Like,
Yeah.
what's your viewpoint for this season? Is this your year? Yeah. Look, man. So do I think Patrick Mahomes alone could single-handedly? No. 7 games is more. No, I'm not saying as a quarterback he couldn't necessarily do it, but with a coach like that, the other players aren't even ready to play. At least if you give Mahomes a bad receiver with Andy Reid, the receiver will be ready to play on game day.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll see.